Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Film Optix review brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host and special guest, Amanda from Candid Cinema. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's Friday. It's a good day.
Very good day. Woo! It's Friday. Let's go. It's Friday. There we go. One more. Yeah, there we go.
Woo!
It's Friday, everyone. The weekend. Thank God it's here. And today we're going to be reviewing the long-awaited Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League. It has been a crazy ass week.
It is also the latest Snyder Cut.
Yeah, and people are hoping it won't be the last, but we'll have to wait and see. And I definitely want to talk about that today. But yes, we are talking about the long-awaited Zack Snyder's Justice League, and we like to thank Warner Brothers for actually sending us the film early, even though this is dropping on a Saturday because we had a lot of other crap going on this week. South by Southwest is this week. We had Falcon and Winter Soldier come out and a crap ton of other reviews that people have to, this is like our third podcast we're releasing within 3 days of each other. No breathing room.
And Invincible. Like, there's just so much.
Yeah, and Invincible. But hey, I mean, those are embargo dates, so you really can't argue with those. So you just got to keep on hustling and push those puppies out as much as you can. So, but a little bit of housekeeping here before we begin today's spoiler review. Yes, this is going to be a spoiler review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. The gloves are coming off. I feel like we've waited long enough. It came out this past Thursday. But before we get into that review, you can listen to this podcast on platforms around the internet and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Excuse me. Wow, I'm all over the place at Film Optix with an X for all of our latest announcements. Any hooser. Devin, would you actually let's have our guest of honor read the synopsis and then we'll jump into it.
Oh my God, I feel so honored. Let me clear my throat. Zack Snyder's definitive director's cut of Justice League. Determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions.
Ooh, very ominous.
Where have we heard that before?
Honestly, literally every superhero film in the entire world. But
all
yes, this is directed by Zack Snyder, the man himself. Writers include Chris Terrio, Will Beall, and Zack Snyder, and stars Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot. We got Jason Momoa on deck. We got Ezra Miller. We got Ray Fisher. We got the whole gang. The whole gang's all here, with a few little surprises in between. This did release on March 18th, this past Thursday. You can find it on HBO MAx, the full 4-hour film. I think there are some places that are playing it in theaters, but it's like super select.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's like New York and LA here in the States, and it's like we're like smack dab in the middle. We're not going anywhere. So, because he kept talking. Zack Snyder kept talking about it. I was like, oh, cool. Like I thought about seeing it in theaters. Now I'm like, I kind of want to see it in theaters.
With that 4:3 aspect ratio, it definitely is meant for theaters.
Well, I do want to see it.
Yeah, actually seeing it in IMAX. Well, I prefer the Dolby Live myself, but seeing it in IMAX would be pretty sweet. So hopefully.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But I mean, the gloves are going to come off. We're going to talk shop about it. Just want to get your guys' initial thoughts about it. I guess the road up to, or like leading up to Zack Snyder's Justice League, because for the longest time I was not a believer whatsoever.
Neither of us were.
I was
not at all. So I guess Amanda, tell us about your experience this past 4 years. Fighting the good fight for this man's vision to be realized.
Oh man, it has been a journey and a half. It's been exhausting, to be perfectly honest. There have been fans who have gone way too far with certain things, and I can't say that we've all been great. We've all been kind. I can't say that. I've seen it all on Twitter.
Especially
but yeah,
recently.
Yeah,
The recent incident.
yeah, it's been a lot. It's constantly toxic in that fandom. But I do have to say that early on, when we were trying to release the Snyder Cut, it was really bad. Like I was fighting with everyone. Anyone that said anything bad about Zack or his vision or something, or that it wasn't true, and that we were dumb. That we shouldn't have believed that there was another cut. It was a lot of fighting, and then something just kind of flipped the day that Zack posted that the cut was real. Then I think that was the day that we all gained momentum to just push a bit more. And then the past two years has just been like a dream, because we got to interact with him more, and he was telling us stuff, he was dropping hints, and it was just a dream to get to this point. And it's just such a huge deal for this fandom. And I'm not gonna lie, like when I was fortunate enough to get the screener, I actually started crying. I know that's just so that's so extra of me to say, but it was I guess like I was having a hard day or something, and then that popped up in my inbox, and I was like floored. I just couldn't believe it, and I watched it that night, and I just cried straight through, because it's an iconic moment, really. Like that, this has never happened with any other director, and like you can at least, if you didn't like the film, you can at least appreciate the fact that like the fans got this done, and it's the first time in history. So it kind of changes film history in that way, to be perfectly honest. But it's been a ride. It's
cool to have somebody that was in like the heart of that movement, because I don't know about Christian, but I've been kind of just on the outside, just watching it unfold.
I was not there. I was not
or anything.
I was not there.
It was a lot.
Me and Devin being outsiders, I for a while, like I guess I was more of like a non-believer, just to the fact where it's like, I don't know, like he said that it was out there, but obviously, we never really saw any footage. I'm like, okay, well, it's possible. And then it's just like, a year, 2 years, 3 years goes by, and it's like, okay, we still haven't seen anything. So I was just like, all right, well, even if it is real, it's not finished. So I didn't really worry about it. But I mean, it's just coming off of Batman v Superman. It really just left a sour taste in my mouth. And I was like, I don't want any superhero nonsense from this man ever again. And I mean, I didn't see the original Justice League in theaters. I think, Devin, did you?
You didn't miss much, yeah.
Yeah, Devin saw it.
I saw it with my dad, and we were both just thoroughly confused.
I bought it like the next year after, like in the.
Oh, you own it?
Yeah, I own it. It's okay. So I bought it. Yes. I think it was 2017 or 2018 when I picked it up. It was during some kind of. I mean, like I heard it was bad, but I never saw it. I picked it up for like $10 during the holiday season. I'm like, all right, I'll pick it up for $10. So yeah, I have it. It's there. It's staying there too.
See, I never bought it.
Oh, you never bought it.
When I don't like something in theaters, I like refuse to buy it. That's why I don't have Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel on DVD.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
I don't have either of those on DVD because I'm like, you know what? Am I ever gonna watch this again? Probably not. And like, I just don't own it. And that's what happened with Justice League.
I wish I could say the same. Like when it comes to comic book movies, like I would buy them no matter what. Like unfortunately, Wonder Woman 84 is going to end up on my shelf at some points. But at a discounted price.
Yes, naturally.
We're not paying full price.
They're nice shiny coasters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't, I don't know. Like for the longest time, I was just like, I mean, maybe it's real. I don't know. I was a little tired of, there's always the toxic people within each fandom.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it in Star Wars time and time again. And it's just like,
oh God, yeah.
It is so exhausting and it just drains you mentally and physically. And it's like, you feel like you really can't fight anymore. But I'm glad that this movie like turned my ear because I sat through a 4-hour movie that was good. I sat through a Zack Snyder film, 4-hour movie that was good because I wasn't super crazy about Watchmen. But I mean, it was all right. But Devin, what about you?
I'd have to say, I mean, obviously it was better than the first cut of Justice League.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say, I didn't think it was great, but I do think it was good. Definitely had some same issues from the original one that were still present.
There was
some new issues, but we'll talk about that.
Okay, yeah. There was that one. There was some. Oh my gosh, some Rotten Tomato reviewer it was weird because like their 2017 Justice League was like higher. It wasn't like super higher than like Zack Snyder's cut, but like it was still
looking for attention.
It was weird. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense like at all. But like I heard something about like I guess there's like new discourse with like the whole Asian the whole Asian movement of what happened a few days ago. What happens? Because I'm not. I haven't been filled in.
So, from what I understood, I've been trying to avoid the negativity because it's been a lot.
I hear it was like really, really bad, but I just didn't really.
It was freaking horrible. So originally, what had happened was that Zack went on YouTube with a bunch of these YouTubers, and I think it was like Geeks and Gamers or something to that effect, the name. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But they had apparently made racist remarks on their own show previously. And then Zack had kind of put them on blast on the actual like live, saying that we had to like remove associate like disassociate from the actual YouTubers because of the remarks that they made towards the Asian community. And his daughters obviously are Asian, so it was like that when we found out, we were like, we need to disassociate. So that's what ended up happening.
Okay.
So then right after, on a separate stream, they put Zack on blast, and then they were making like horrid remarks towards him and the Asian community again on top of that. And I'm like what was the point, and they have this massive platform. So then that's what ended up happening for the entire week, and I was just absolutely floored. Okay.
So that's why I retweeted today, because I saw something. I was like, what are these guys talking? Okay, so that must have been the group then. I was like, I mean, yikes, YouTube. I would definitely do something about that because...
I believe the video was taken down.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, of course, like they're always going to take something down, but like, that's, I mean, that causes, I mean, I'm not a YouTuber myself, but I mean, I think that kind of causes for a termination of a YouTube channel because that's just not something you joke about. Like, that's just terrible. But anyway, on to bigger and better news here. So, as I said, this is a spoiler review. Again, this is a spoiler review. So we're going to be talking about the 4-hour movie that hit. And I've been trying to get my mom to watch it, but I don't think she wants to watch another superhero movie after Wonder Woman 84. She was. I mean,
do I blame her? I don't blame her.
She was like, it's not going to be like that one other movie, is it? I'm like, well, the same actress, a lot better in this film, but no, it's not going to be the same. I don't know if she's watched it or not, but let's just kind of talk about this movie. Like, where do you guys want to begin? Because I don't even know where to start.
I don't even know where to begin. I guess. Okay, I guess we can start with the length because that's a good.
Yeah. Devin was not a fan.
Really?
4 hours is a bit much
for him.
I think they should have kept the mini-series format that they originally were going to go with. I think that would have worked out a little better, at least for me.
I can see that. I mean, like, for me, I didn't feel the 4 hours. I felt 2.5 hours. I thought the pacing was like really good, and every single scene that was in there needed to be there, I think,
Mm.
because they were all very important. And what I loved about it was the fact that he really explained everything. Like, even like my mom watched it and she's like a complete like noob. She knows like not like she knows nothing. She's a newbie. And she loved Justice League when it first came out. She did.
I mean, it makes sense, especially for the casual audience. They don't really know what happened, so
they had no idea. And then like she watched this and she was absolutely floored. She's like, it's so much better. I understand everything now. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, see, like that's like a general like audience member like saying like all the explanations. It wasn't even like over explaining either. Like I think it was just perfect. But the pacing for me was like perfect. I watched it again on Thursday.
See, so how many times have you seen it, Amanda?
Thursday was my third watch.
Okay, I've seen it twice. Yeah. I don't think Devin's seen it the second time.
Just the one.
It's okay, man. You watched it. That's all that matters. You watched it.
You watched it, yeah. I was surprised. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to like 4-hour films, like that for me, that's like Lord of the Rings extended edition. So, I mean, the pacing of those films are amazing, but I definitely feel like I thought it was paced like pretty freaking well. Like I didn't really feel the 4 hours until like probably like the epilogue, but I'm like, oh my God, this is like, I
agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
But like, I mean, even with like, I liked the, like, I wanted like more of the epilogue of anything else, but like, just to, you know, we only got little snippets and we knew Jared Leto was going to be in this movie. And I don't know why, like a lot of news sites are just now saying, oh, well, Jared Leto doesn't say we live in a society. I'm like, okay, but like, that's technically like a spoiler. So like, why? Like everyone.
That pissed me off. The second that came out, I'm like, you're already lines from the actual movie. It was like 3 days like prior to the release. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like it's a big deal. Like, you know what I mean?
I kind of wanted him to say it.
I know he did, but I think it would have suited his like Joker 100% to like put it in there. But I think he just made people happy in the trailer, even though it caused so much drama. It's like, why would you say that you lived in a society? Like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, it was just a line.
Just Americans being Americans. Trust me, it's. I mean, like it's, you know, it's a run of the like it's a running meme kind of thing. But so like, I'm not like the biggest fan of Jared Leto's Joker, but I thought it was a tad better in this film. And apparently Ben Affleck and Jared Leto weren't even in like the same room when they shot that. Apparently, I was like, oh,
that changes things.
Apparently they weren't from what I read from a article earlier today. But I was like, damn, that's actually pretty impressive. But
that's really cool.
I mean, the 4 hours. I thought it was, and like at first when it first came out, I was like, okay, episodic makes sense. You know, you can have more discourse like throughout the weeks. But now that I've watched it, I'm kind of glad that they just put it all out there. Just, you know, everyone can talk about it. Everyone can be super happy and just go about their day. We don't have to
just move on.
We don't have to theorize about.
Go ahead. It worked out well for me because I was watching it and I was 3 hours in and the internet went out and I was like, oh, that's strange. And then the stream stopped working. So I was like, all right, I'll just take a break. So it was a nice way of just a break coming to me. And then that last hour was pretty awesome. So it worked out.
Yay! Yeah. You were probably like, this is a sign. This is a sign that
just gotta take a break.
That is true. So was it 5 parts or 6 parts in the epilogue? 5? 6.
Yeah.
7 altogether, including the epilogue? Yeah.
I think it was 7 because they originally released 6 title cards on the Twitter.
That's right.
And they're like, there's one more. It was 7.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was paced pretty well. Like I really liked the like pretty much anytime a title card came up, like, you know, I did take maybe like a 10-15 minute break, like got up, stretched. I mean, maybe so like it was just paced. It was great. I don't even know what else to say about it. But
it's kind of like you were binging it as well because it was going to the next episode when those came up. So I also like paused it to like get snacks and stuff and then went back to sit down. But yeah, like I feel like it worked out well for people who can't sit for the 4 hours, you know. So
yeah, I was like, all right, Zach. I mean, I feel you. Like this is pretty nice. Like I just sat there on Sunday. Like I think I started at like early at like 7:00 in the morning, and I just sat there. That was my first viewing, and then I invited one of my friends over. Well, I wasn't sure if he was going to come over, but he ended up coming over, and we ended up watching it a second time, and he was like over the moon. He was like, "Oh my god, this is so much better." But it was. I mean, I think with this film, what it was really missing to begin with was Ray Fisher's Cyborg, because he got a lot more screen time. And
yeah, it was pretty miraculous what happened to Cyborg in this film, because he was just nothing in the original. He was just he didn't do anything. He was just there just to fill in the sixth spot.
So was Flash, honestly. And I was like,
they gave Flash to do all like the stupid stuff in Justice League, to be honest. He was the punchline of everything. No development.
So with this, I mean, obviously there were jokes without Ezra Miller, but I think he was probably my least favorite part in the entire film. I just don't like Ezra Miller as Flash. I don't.
Yeah.
And especially after what happened with him, like force choking that fan, and then Warner Brothers did nothing about it. Like no one said anything. Yeah. They swept it under the rug, and they're like, "Oh, there's going to be a new Flash movie, and he's going to be back in Justice League." And it's like, okay, but like, what happened back there? And they just, swept it under the rug. And
yeah, I like that we all kind of agree that the Flash in this movie wasn't great. I think he just kind of came off as dumb throughout the movie for me, like a dumb person.
I think that I get what you're, but there were conversations that he had with Cyborg where like they were matching each other intellectually, and then that's when I saw like his genius, you know. But I do get what you're saying, where he kind of acts like a bit kiddish in a way.
There was a specific line where when Bruce Wayne's just waiting in his apartment, and he's like, "I don't even know who you are," and it's like, that's like one of us not knowing who Bill Gates is if he was in our apartment. Like, you don't know who Bruce Wayne is?
That is very
really?
True.
Really? You don't know?
Well, okay, so because we know, like, you have Gotham and Metropolis right across the bay from each other. Where is Central City? Because that's where Flash is from. But I would assume, I mean, this is Bruce Wayne we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I see what he's saying. I guess that is something I never really thought about, but I was like, yeah, I guess that.
And there was also a scene later on when they were rescuing people from the that underground layer. I don't even know what you would call it, but when they're first
the rescue mission,
yeah. He kind of runs ahead of everybody instead of taking them himself. I found strange.
See,
I don't understand that one.
I was talking about this with a friend of mine actually. And we have to remember that, like, the Flash doesn't want to really use his powers because he's scared. Because there is a line saying that he did go back in time once before, and he kind of like ruined certain things, and we don't really know his power capability, and neither does he. So I think because he was scared to actually use his powers, that's why he was a bit more reserved in this one.
Yeah,
that could make sense.
Yeah, I was talking about. I'm like, yeah, that's probably he didn't do this or he didn't do that to use them again.
Yeah, because when he was talking about, when he pretty much, reverses time, he said he never breaks his one rule. And that actually does make sense, because with the scene with Iris, which I actually thought was like really, really great. Like that's like the one scene I was like, oh, it was cool stuff. Zack Snyder loves his slow-mo.
A lot of slow-mo.
Yeah.
A lot of slow-mo, but I mean,
It worked.
it worked, and it's just like the film just looks so damn beautiful. Like it was just so aesthetically pleasing. It did have more of a washed out, color palette to it versus the 2017, which it was like they literally just it's like they were trying to copy Marvel, and that's one thing I've kind of been preaching this week is that we kind of did like a Twitter space with like me, Ricky, Geek Vibes Nation, and a few others. And we kind of came to the conclusion, it's like, can we even compare the DCEU and Marvel to each other anymore? Because yes, they're both, superhero franchises or studios, whatnot, but they're going totally different ways in, this space, which is, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I mean, I see so many people like, oh, this is better than Endgame. And I'm like, okay, it's just, I feel like if you're going to compare Justice League to the Avengers, it's kind of like you have to compare at least Zack Snyder's trilogy to the 24 films in MCU, because that is one giant story. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
If you're going to compare it to an Avengers film, it has to be the first Avengers film, I feel like.
At least, yeah. But I don't know. That's just my thought process. It's just, I just feel like they're not really comparable, because this is more of like a fantasy epic, like grand scale film that we got with, with Justice League. I mean, Marvel has that, but like they're doing their own thing outside of Warner Brothers. And I mean, Zack Snyder even said,
even just in general, like, there's no fault to Zack Snyder, but DC definitely rushed into this Justice League film, I feel like. We only had the one Superman, then Batman vs Superman, and was Wonder Woman before this?
It was right before the release of Justice League.
Yeah, right before the release.
So we had those three as set up, and that definitely didn't feel like enough.
I guess it was because we got Cyborg and Aquaman, because Aquaman didn't get his movie until after. Yeah. So,
but the thing that I see with that, sorry, Christian.
No, you're fine.
The thing that I see with comparing to Marvel and all of that is the fact that they want to stand out. They want to be different. So if we're looking at it like they have to be formulaic and then be like standalone, unite the league, then they would literally say, oh, DC's copying Marvel. So whether they do or they don't, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. They're going to be compared to Marvel regardless, because they're 4 phases in. It doesn't matter. They're still going to be compared. So I think that the way Zack did it, I personally believe that it worked out, Zack Snyder's Justice League, because of the backstories of each character. And I think he set it up extremely well for the future, because he did drop so many Easter eggs. Like, he wanted to bring in Adam. He wanted to bring in Jon Stewart, like Green Lantern, like Deathstroke, and like this Batman, and have a Cyborg solo. Like, his plan was completely different. And even if you take the MCU for example, they did drop like little characters, like secondary characters, and then gave them a film later on as well. So it's the same kind of concept. And I do agree that like it is rushed. Don't get me wrong. Like, you have Man of Steel, you have BVS, you have Wonder Woman. Like that, technically that's not enough, but they are leading the league. Yeah. So if you look at it that way too, it's like, okay, you have the leaders, and they're like, let's go find the rest of them. So it kind of works, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree there. I see exactly where you're coming from. I guess for me, it was just like, I mean, like, all right, whatever. I'm a Marvel shell. It's fine. But I'm more of a superhero. Like, I mean, I would never shy away from watching this film again, because like, I mean, as soon as it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm buying this puppy like 100%. But it's like, I mean, I am a fan of the Justice League. I'm a fan of DC. Like, I'm watching Titans right now. It is a rough watch, but I am watching it because I want to see season 3. I want to see, I think they're introducing Red Hood and all those characters. So it's like, I adore DC characters. It's just, I don't know, when I feel like everyone's still like on the hype train, or like, on this high from Justice League. And it's like, I feel like you can't, like Devin said, if you're going to compare it, it has to be the first one. But yes, Warner Brothers rushed, but it makes sense for what Amanda was saying, that, if Zack, he was planning a lot of things, especially with Lois Lane possibly being pregnant. We kind of got a little glimpse of that. We saw Iris, of course, and, it was going a different direction. It was connected, but it was going a different direction. And that is totally fine. I don't want 2 studios doing the exact same thing with their characters, because that's just like really, this is more of the same. And it's like, I want to see 2 different sides of the same coin when it comes to something like this. But yeah, I don't know. So Devin, what did you think of Jared Leto's Joker?
I'm not a fan of Jared Leto's Joker, as you know.
Oh, boy.
I was
the reach around joke, like
I thought that was funny. I was like confused. I'm like, wait, what?
The fact that Batman is dreaming that's interesting to me.
I mean, I guess it is like a Joker thing to say.
He's got some dreams, I guess.
I mean, I was surprised that Martian Manhunter was in this film, but I was a little bit more pissed because I'm like, all right, you let Superman get his ass beat by Doomsday. It was like, oh, Superman can handle it. I'm like, you know damn well. You saw Wonder Woman out there. You saw Superman. What was Batman going to do? Like, I mean, I
found it interesting that they kind of did 2 reveals for Martian Manhunter. I feel like if they kept it for the end, it would have had a little more oomph.
See, I think that people, they were prepared for it to be leaked. And I think that's what it was. Because those are the scenes that were reshot, I believe, to the Martian Manhunter ones.
I think so, yeah.
So I remember I was talking to Leo over Geekly Goods, and he sent me the screenshot because he saw it on his timeline, and I'm like, oh no, like I'm so sad that you got to see it before, like. But then I said, I'm like, don't worry, like there's another like part. Which they showed in the trailer too. I'm like, what are you trying to ruin the whole? Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you show that, man? Like, I was so mad, but still, like, I don't know
why they showed the Joker at all in the trailer. They could have just saved that. That would have been a complete surprise.
Yeah,
no, I think that trailer was awesome though, because like when he turns around and he says all of that, and then he goes back. You're like, because like it's so it's iconic in itself. When you saw it, I was just like, oh my god, I didn't mind your little Joker. I hated him in Suicide Squad.
Oh, he's terrible.
Cringe. At least in this one,
Disturbed.
Yes, and this one, I think it had way better dialogue for him. I think Chris Terrio is absolutely incredible. And I really loved their conversation between Batman and Joker. I thought it was really cool what they did with it.
It was awesome. He was like, what did Joker say? Why would you send a boy to do a man's job?
Yeah.
But okay, so that was another thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, I know it's not like in the movie, but what do you guys think about, I guess, Dick Grayson being the Batman that died instead of Jason Todd? Because I was like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I'm like, I mean, like, I guess, like, what service or like what purpose did it serve to change the Robins of who died? I don't know, but because I think that was in BVS? Yeah, that was in BVS when he was
Jokes on You, Batman.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that's, I'm assuming that's the Robin they're talking about in the alternate timeline, but Joker kind of calls out Batman. He's like, he's always sending someone else to do his dirty work and like all these multiple timelines, which I'm assuming, with Flash and whatnot, but I don't know. I wasn't sure if anyone had any thoughts about that. I was just like, I don't know. It was just weird to me. I was like, why change the Robin?
I didn't put too much thought to that, to be honest.
That's just me. Yes. Maybe it's just a me thing. It's whatever.
Honestly, I didn't put too much thought because like we're never gonna get that.
That's
the only thing to
that's another thing that that kind of irks me about this project is just that there's so much that was unlocked from this that we probably aren't going to get branches off of. Especially for me, especially Superman, because Henry Cavill was so good in this, I thought.
Oh yeah.
For the little time that he had, I think they showed like his full potential as like his powers, because they never used the breath, like the frozen. Yeah. They never use it. I've never seen it, like properly at least, but like it was really good when he did it.
And it sounds like DC. I mean, it sounds like they're going a different direction. They're going to try a different Superman. It's sad.
I think
he deserves. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go, you're good.
I was going to say I would want a Man of Steel trilogy for him alone because I think that he deserves it above like everyone since he's the OG. Yeah. If it started with him, how do you not give him a full trilogy? Even though this one's like an unofficial trilogy, it's still like BS in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't even love Superman that much as a character, but he's just so good in it that it's hard not to just like what he does with it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I honestly feel like I as of right now, I mean, it's getting really good reviews. Like what was the last time it was on Rotten Tomatoes? I think it's like a 8.6 on IMDb. right now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's check to see what Rotten Tomatoes says, because it was, I mean, the critic score especially. I was like,
yeah, I think it was 77% last time I checked, and then it was 97% audience score.
yeah, like fans were going to love this film no matter what, even if it was a pile of doggy doo-doo. Like they were still going to love it because he got his vision. So right now, it's sitting at a 75% for critics, 97 for fans or for audience, whatever, fans. We'll just but it's like I honestly feel like Warner Brothers has dug themselves into another hole.
Yeah, it's so messy right now. What are they gonna do?
Because
well, yeah,
I don't think they expected this to do great, because they didn't even handle like the screeners themselves. They like outsourced it to like some third party. So it's like, I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it, or if they were just, focusing on other things. I'm not sure why. Or maybe that was at the request of Zack Snyder. I really don't know. Because I know he didn't really want to at first, I didn't think we were going to get screeners at all. I didn't think it was even going to happen. And because I think someone I was talking to on Twitter was saying that he didn't want bigger studios or publicists to get their hands on it, and because it is for the fans first and foremost, and for his late daughter as well. So it's maybe that's why they outsourced it to a third party. I really don't know, but I mean, it is what it is. Hey, I'm not in charge of Warner Brothers. If I was, things would be a lot different, but
honestly, my God. Well, I did hear that they were going to have some meetings. So within the next couple of weeks, I don't know if anything's going to come out, but there were meetings being held, which I don't blame them. You see the success of it. You'd be absolutely dumb to not do something with it. People are calling for a Batman Deathstroke miniseries.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I think it'd be really cool because, first of all, you're wasting Joe Manganiello. He was absolutely fantastic in the little bit that we saw. He looks incredible as Deathstroke, and you're telling me you're going to waste that costume? You're going to waste that costume for 5 minutes of screen time? I just disagree with that entirely. And also tomorrow, I think it's Zack Snyder and Joe Manganiello. They're going to be on Twitch tomorrow together to raise money for the American Suicide Prevention Fund. And he's going to talk about the Justice Gray version of this tomorrow. He's I had a little bit of info, so the black and white version. I think that's also supposed to drop on HBO MAx, I think. I want it kind of like what happened with Logan, that we get the option on the DVD. I think that'd be so cool.
Honestly, if I love the noir version of Logan. It's like watching a totally different movie. And I don't know what it is about black and white films, but I love it. Besides Meg.
And Malcolm and Murray.
Okay. It looks amazing. But usually with black and white films, this is I even have the black and white version of Parasite. I don't know why. I just love it. And it's just it just brings a totally different feel and look to the movie that you're watching. And I don't know. It's weird stuff. But Warner Brothers has some thinking to do. They usually are just very reactionary. And it's Zack Snyder didn't want this to be like Marvel. And I mean, I don't blame him. It's just I don't know, it just sets up for something. And it's we're never going to get it. Probably not. And that it kind of disappoints. It makes me disappointed. Because I'm go ahead.
Yeah. No, because he has Justice League 2 and 3 mapped out.
Yeah. It's there. The plan is, even if he doesn't direct, put him in executive producer role or something, because it's I mean, you see Marvel has the next 5 to 10 years planned out. They know what they're doing. It's not
even just Justice League. There's Batman as an Affleck Batman solo movie out there. There's potential Supermans out there if they were smart enough.
Come on. There's a Black Canary that you can bring into to cool.
Yeah.
Which I want her to get an HBO Max series, but we got Peacemaker.
And we got, what was it?
He's like,
Our Man or whatever it was.
yeah. And I'm like, bro, who's asking? I want to know who's asking for these series. Like, I don't understand.
First I heard of him.
It's just, I mean, like, I understand. I don't know. Like, I was talking to Geek Vibe Nation about this, and they were saying how in today's world, you know, kids, you know, when we were growing up, you know, watching superhero shows and stuff, like, there was Marvel and DC, but I feel like DC did have the upper hand, especially when it came to like their animated series. Like, I mean, X-Men was really, really good, and so was the 90s Spider-Man, but there was a few other X-Men shows that came out like throughout the early 2000s, but it was really more so, I mean, DC animation was just flourishing. And I mean, we didn't really get too much of that with Marvel, but it's like now kids today are like, their holy trinity is Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. Which, and there's nothing wrong with that, because like, I mean, I absolutely love that, you know, Marvel has taken like their C-lister and B-lister heroes and brought them up to like their A-S rank type heroes up with Spider-Man. Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy how, and even with Daredevil, like,
yeah,
I've loved Daredevil since, even with Ben Affleck, like when I was a kid, I was like, I just loved that movie so much. Well, I haven't watched it in a while, and I don't think I will watch it. But it's like, it's great that, you know, they're really building their properties. Like, they're taking these heroes that people have barely even heard of, who've never even opened up a comic book. And it's like, yeah, we're going to give you Miss Marvel. We're going to give you She-Hulk. We're going to give you Moon Knight. And it's like, Moon Knight, who the fuck is Moon Knight? It's like, oh, he's this awesome kind of, I guess he's kind of like the Marvel's Batman-esque in a way, but yeah, it's just great. And it's just DC, I really wish they would just do better. I mean, like, this could be the step in the right direction for Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's like, there's just so much there, but like, does Zack even want to go back to like,
I've been seeing like so many differing reports. Like, I've seen he does want to come back. I've seen he doesn't want to come back. I've seen he's done with superhero movies. I have no idea.
I've seen so much, like, exactly like you said. Like, to this morning, sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's like, well, I freaking hope so. Like, don't say that he's not going to. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. And Zack loves this stuff. You can tell because he loves the material. And like, if you really watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, there are certain shots for his heroes that I was just blown away. Like, I can pinpoint, like, especially with Aquaman, you know, when he's walking like off the pier and he's gonna go to Atlantis. What? The water splashing, the slow-mo, like, coming through the water, his face was coming through the water. Like, I was just blown away.
Takes his bottle, Jack.
Exactly. And like, for me, those are, the fact that we're even talking about it, like, those are iconic shots. Like, they're just so beautifully executed, and it looks so cool. So he knows his heroes. And for me personally, watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, the thing that really got me is that there was such a balance between each hero. Like, everyone got enough screen time where you can pinpoint where, oh, he said this and it was funny, or I love that Wonder Woman scene. Like, each character had their time to shine. And I know you're like, Amanda, it's a 4-hour movie. I'm like, I understand that. I totally understand that. But even within the first 2 hours, if you just look at it, they still evenly distributed the screen time and the banter characters, and making you kind of appreciate them even more. So I thought it was a really good balance. And if he were to just do Justice League films and then have other directors come in and do the standalones, I think that would also work extremely well, because he knows every character from what I see. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. And I was actually going to ask you guys, besides Superman, obviously, I think he had around like maybe 10, 11 minutes, but of course he was dead most of the movie, you know, bringing him back to life. But so I wanted to ask you guys, which I guess hero, like, character stood out to you the most? I mean, I'll go last, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Devin?
Like I mentioned before, Cyborg like stole the show. Like, I don't know how they pulled that off, because he was so terrible in the first or the original one. Now it's kind of like a Cyborg movie if you think about it. his dad's voice echoing throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just everything with his past and his family. They just fleshed it out so much more for him.
We got more Steppenwolf too.
I still am not a Steppenwolf fan. I know they made him look better.
But the memes that are online right now, like, I was crying, like, literally Thursday night, I was dying of laughter. People are smart, I swear.
Yeah. But Amanda, what about you? What character stuck out to you the most?
Oh, 100% Cyborg. I was blown away by his backstory. I thought he did an incredible job. I thought Ray Fisher brought such an emotional performance for Victor Stone. I really enjoyed his storyline. And like, if you really watch it now, it's like without Cyborg, there's no explanation for literally anything with the mother boxes.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Like, you know nothing about it. And he is literally the heart of the League because he knows how to, because he's attached to the mother boxes and he can hear them and he can kind of, function with them. He's the glue. So him being there and telling the League basically what the mother boxes do, like, that even helped us as like audience members. And then you care about what he has to say because of his backstory. It's like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And then this makes sense because you care about him. And then his friendship with Flash, I absolutely loved. Like, that was building a great relationship. And I'm really pissed off that they wrote out Ray Fisher from the Flash movie because you established such a great connection.
Oh, they actually wrote him out. Oh, wow. Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they wrote him out, and like, we're all kind of like, are you not gonna bring him back?
I mean, especially after this, it's like, well,
yeah.
And
then for me, obviously, like, Affleck coming back was just everything to me. Like, just seeing him again, and they did him justice in this one because the Justice League, he looked freaking horrible. They didn't care about the makeup on him. His hair was apparently a wig in Justice League. It wasn't even his hair.
Really?
The lighting. Yeah, like, just everything for Ben. Like, he did not look good at all, and they didn't highlight his features at all as Batman. And then you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm like, he looks like Batman. Like, what
he
did
does.
he do?
He does.
I'm curious as to what Christian thinks, but I like Ben Affleck as Batman, but I don't like him as Bruce Wayne.
Interesting.
So y'all know Christian Bale is my guy. Through and through. But I would have to agree. I think he is a better Batman than
I love the physicality that he brings to Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he was like ripped. I was like, this is like Dark Knight Returns, like bulky Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. But yeah, like I do like him as Batman. I mean, I'll always give him crap, but like I love Ben Affleck as an actor. And I do like him as Batman. It's just for what I don't know. It's just I was just like, oh my god, like Christian Bale is so cool, blah blah blah. I don't know. It is what it is, but I think
Bruce Wayne side, I mean, there were less like, hey, I'm rich jokes than the original one, but there were still some of them there.
Yeah,
and I don't like how his identity is being just thrown out willy-nilly to everybody.
I loved it. Everyone should know who he is.
He's supposed to be like the greatest detective in the world. He's supposed to be so secretive, and now
he works so
everybody
hard.
knows.
He works so hard to do it. I think it's because he's an older Batman, so he's like, you know what? F it. I'm gonna literally just bring everyone in. I don't care.
Yeah,
like, that's the vibe that I'm getting from him. Because even at the end, when like Martian Manhunter flows his face when he goes there, he's like, and like, who are you now? He's like, not even faced. He's like, okay, cool. Like an alien freaking floating in front of me, but like, good morning, sir. Like, oh, cool. You want to help us?
Yeah.
Awesome. Here's my card. Come back later. Like, that's what it was.
It was crazy. But I mean, it's as much as I did love Cyborg, I'm not gonna lie, Wonder Woman just like blew me away in this film. Like, she was
much better.
I think like the whole the whole Themyscira scene, like, so much better. I loved her introduction.
Was the bank robbery scene the same in both? I don't remember.
No, it was completely different.
No, it was different. Yeah.
So first, the score was different. they didn't have her score. And I feel like this added so much more to that scene. Like the score was absolutely fantastic. And then it was longer. So you didn't really see the robbers going into wherever they were. The museum, whatever it was. You didn't see any of that part. You just saw that the guy was just shooting at them. Literally, that's it. And then it just looked really messy, and the score didn't make sense.
Like, she was standing on top of that bank. I was like, oh, here we go. Let's go. I think that's like as soon as I was just like into it. Yes. I was so into it. And I was just like...
I also wasn't quite sure about like the super speed elements that they were giving her. That's the issue with Wonder Woman is we have no idea what her power set is at all because the movies are just so like everywhere.
Well, yeah, in the films, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's some weird stuff because it's like, can she fly? Can she not fly? And then we see Wonder Woman 84, she can, but
she doesn't fly anywhere else.
She kind of like
in the future
glide, like when it was like the all one shot of them, like towards the end. Like she was kind of like gliding or like hovering. I think.
Yeah.
And
I don't like Patty Jenkins' version of her. From what we saw in like Wonder Woman 80, don't vibe with what she did with it. I know that Zack was there to oversee it kind of, but like when he has full control of her, I think that he does an excellent job in showing her warrior side, which I think we were lacking in 84.
84 was just...
It's one of those movies where the more you think about it, it just starts to...
I'll watch like the first 30 minutes and I'll turn it off. Yeah. But I did love Pedro Pascal's. So good. It was crazy. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, between Steppenwolf, we finally actually got to see Darkseid this time around. So it's like full fledged. I really like the flashback of the original Age of Heroes. That
scene was really cool.
Yeah,
the history lesson. My God,
I was like, oh, we're doing this. I would definitely watch this again. I don't know if I want to watch it on HBO Max or if I want to wait until the physical comes out because I've seen it twice already, and I want to like dilute its enjoyment. You know, this is a 4-hour film. Like even with like Lord of the Rings, like I watch it at least like once a year, if anything. Like sometimes I'll turn it on twice, but like I never watch the theatricals of Lord of the Rings. I always watch the extended because it's like there's just so much more, and it's just like how could you not like? But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. But any other interesting topics you guys want? Or
what did we think about Aquaman? I feel like out of all of them,
I wanted to talk about
the least amount of.
He was better than before, but they also didn't give him to do.
Yeah.
In this one, he was kind of just there. I don't blame them either because like he have a standalone coming up, so it was like a little bit of setup for what was coming. But again, what I really loved is that Zack showed his powers, even in the final battle with Steppenwolf. I thought it was really cool to actually see him use the trident and kind of like whooping major butt because he's a pretty strong like character, like he's a strong hero. So to see him fighting with Wonder Woman and then Superman, that like the teamwork that you saw, like it was just so cool. And that final fight scene, it was really wicked. So
Jason Momoa really is amazing because in every other media, Aquaman is just so lame.
Yeah,
but Jason Momoa just changes everything.
Yeah, he adds so much. It's fantastic.
Yeah, like I wasn't like the biggest fan of Aquaman the movie, but I did like his power set. Like it was very interesting because for the longest time everyone just makes fun of Aquaman. It's like, oh, what are you, just a guy who can talk to fish? And it's like it's like no, he's like out here water bending and all this other stuff. It's like that's what I want to see. But I actually wanted to talk about Amber Heard for like
that accent.
I was like, where? Someone was like, oh, well, like it came beforehand and blah, 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 blah. I was like,
no, I didn't like it.
Like, where you're British now? Like, what's going on? Like,
and why is she so integral to the group? I don't know why they scooped her up.
I mean, I don't know. I think that they wanted to make it seem like, I don't know, it was like a higher I don't even know, like they're higher beings, they're Atlanteans. Like, the only thing I can think of when it's like an old timey like language. I don't know if that's what it was, but like it just did not work. Like it felt like she was forcing it out of her. It was just so weird. And then it's not an Aquaman. It's like, where did it go? Like, who made the choice? I would like to, if Zack made the choice, then it's a different story. Like, I don't understand why, but like, if she made the choice, then that's even worse, because at least be consistent in the next one. But
it's just like, no one spoke with that. None of the Atlanteans spoke with like a British, like old English accent. And then here comes Amber.
She tried.
I mean, it is what it is, but hey, I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to kind of cover on? But if there's anything you guys wanted to touch on, feel free for sure.
They fixed the mustache, or at least they didn't add the mustache like the original did.
That whole scene was different. Like,
when Superman first gets
sorry, I know that was completely different, but like that whole scene was different because Cyborg didn't go save Batman because the car was gonna like.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then Cyborg wasn't gonna hit him there, and then that whole conversation didn't really exist. The something's definitely bleeding line was just so dumb from Justice League, but that whole thing was different. Even the fight scene with Wonder Woman, the Kal-El no sounded better for some reason. Like it wasn't that bad.
I didn't mind that to begin with.
The one thing I wish changed was the multi-headbutt moment between Wonder Woman and Superman. I kind of wish they would have changed that one.
I like that.
Was that in the original or not? Now I get attacked on Twitter when I say the original Justice League. It's not the original. It's not the original.
What else are you supposed to call it?
The Justice League. Just say Justice.
I'm just
so many more syllables.
I was going to say the 2017 version or 2017 Justice. Because like I said it like in my written review, I was like, "Oh, someone's better than the original," and someone's like, "Well, technically, this is the original." I was like, "Okay, buddy, let's pump the brakes here." You knew what I meant. The original film that came out first. It's like, now I'm gonna get attacked for it on Twitter, but it's whatever. I don't care.
You'll be fine.
It wouldn't be the first time. I just ignore half. I ignore half of like the notifications I get anyway. It's like I don't even know how to respond. So it's like, but yeah, so it's been a while since I've seen the 2017 version. Like, but like I do want to like go back now and be like, I'm kind of curious.
Nope.
It's always fun to watch a bad movie. It's always fun.
I have a kind of a question. I don't know. Maybe on a rewatch I would have figured out, but I was wondering. So when the Superman fight happens between the Justice League, how do they lose that mother box? They kind of just like leave it there, and that's when Steppenwolf goes to get it. Or did I miss something? They kind of just left it there.
Sorry, what do you mean at the end, the last fight scene?
No, after they awaken Superman, they kind of just leave that one there, and then he goes to get it.
Yeah, because I think his dad, Silas.
Yeah, Silas.
Right?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It's just weird that they left it there.
True. I mean, yeah, it is.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, obviously the film was not perfect. I gave it a B+ scoring on my written review. So, and I feel like that was made more sense. I'm like, well, I didn't want to just go off like, I was on this high, like writing this review and be like, oh my God, A+ or just like an A or an A-. I was like, well, let's think about it, because I was just like, just anyone else besides Ezra, please. That is my number one issue with that film. I
didn't love how his scenes were like with all the lightning and stuff, and it didn't look great to me.
I liked the special effects. I really liked the Iris moment. It was just, I don't know. I just don't like it when that man talks. I just really don't like it when he talks at all.
It sounds too much like Ezra and not.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what it is. Because he's not. I feel like he's not acting like Barry. He's just acting like himself as like the Flash. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes
sense. He might be a little more violent if he was acting like himself.
Oof! Shots fired.
he's a little more passive in the movie.
A little bit more contained, reserved.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. But so what did you guys think of when he goes back in time? Like, what did you think of that whole sequence? Because I thought it was actually pretty cool.
I was pretty surprised. I didn't think they would break that one out.
I didn't think they were going to either. Wait, what's up?
It's pretty big power.
Yeah. It's like, how long has he been the Flash? Because it's like he kind of just, I'm assuming like he just knew what to do, because he said earlier, I think I mentioned it earlier, when he was like, he's like, I have one rule that I don't break, and that's, so I wonder how long he's actually been the Flash, like in Central City.
No, I agree with you, but like even this is what I didn't understand, and maybe I'm making this connection and shouldn't make it right now, but maybe the fact that he says that he doesn't want to go back in time again is because he already did that in BBS. So maybe he saw the repercussions of that, and because it's pretty important, because even Affleck mentions it again in Justice League. He's like, oh yeah, like Barry Allen came, like, he's right here, the portal opened, and blah, 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 blah. And he said that Lois is the key. And it's like, well, maybe that was the moment. And I don't think any of us are even thinking about that. It's like, oh, is there another time that he broke the fabric of time?
Well, I mean, there might have been. Like, I just, with him just like maybe even just messing around when he first got his powers. So it's like, I mean, it's totally possible, because he does mention it. So, okay, so he has been Flash for at least some time. We just don't know how long, but I don't think that's like super relevant. He just like puts his hand out, and it was like, whoa, what? Because like you kind of see everyone's like body parts go everywhere, and even with the nightmare scene before like the epilogue, when Wonder Woman had passed away and they were given the funeral, I was like, oh, this is like, I really wanted to see more Darkseid though. Like I was actually hoping that I thought the nightmare scene was going to be like I guess it was its entire chapter, but like earlier of just like what could have been. Like, I was, like, really interested to see. I thought that was going to happen, but I was like, wait. I'm like, wasn't Jared Leto supposed to be in this movie? Like, oh, okay, there he is, like, at least towards the end. But it was just really interesting. I really liked it. Good stuff. But, so, if there was nothing else, I guess we are coming up on time here. I didn't want to keep you guys here too long on a Friday.
You're not going for 4 hours?
Nah. Someone's going to do it. Someone is literally going to dissect it for 4 hours. I will tell you that right now. Someone's going to do it.
4 hours and 2 minutes on the dot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much more. It's just a grand scaled movie, and it's like, I feel like it's almost damn near impossible to like cover everything, unless, like you guys said, if you were intending on making a 4-hour review, but I don't think I would sit through that.
I will also mention that the fight at the end with Steppenwolf was just so much better.
It really was. Just a Superman breath scene, I was like,
What did he say? What was his line? He was like, is that it or something? What did he say?
I can't remember.
Oh my God, I just saw it on Twitter today. No, I forgot.
Mission reports.
Oh, he says not impressed.
Which
was so, he was just standing there, like literally no cross, just like looking at him. He's like, not impressed. And then he just blows on the axe and like, yes.
I will. Superman's return was like pretty fucking badass. Like all the monologues and like the fact that he chooses his black suit over, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's not just, because I was thinking like, all right, what happens in the death of Superman, with his body's, he's not like dead, but he's pretty much almost gone. But his body gets taken back to the ship. But and it's like I said, it had been so long since I had seen 2017 version, and I was trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, what was actually used from Zack's, in the Frankenstein that was the 2017 Justice League, and I kind of had to go back and see. I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. And my friend kind of pointed it out as
I think the original one was like half and half.
Half and half,
somewhere
yeah.
around there.
I mean, like for the super casual fan who knows nothing about this, I don't blame them if they like. I mean, they probably don't even know if this thing exists. They probably think it's a totally different movie, which is honestly like a valid point. Like, why would they think it's the same? But we're in this whole film industry type thing, so we're more in the know than the casual viewer. But I can definitely see the casual viewer be like, oh yeah, that was pretty good, like that was okay. But I don't know. But did you guys want to get into scores really quick if no one else had any anything else to mention about the film? All right, Devin, let's hear it.
See, our new scoring system.
Yeah.
It seems like it makes scores sound worse than they are.
Does it?
It does. So I'm gonna give it a C. But that sounds bad.
Okay, is it like a 71? Is it a 72?
It's like a 75.
75.
That's fair.
So what? So
but with the scale, it makes it sound like you're not
true.
that good. But when you say 75, it's like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's like a different.
That's fair.
That is true. Because would a 75 be considered a C or a C plus?
A C.
A C. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking back in college. I'm like, so many times.
And considering the Justice League would have been like a 30 or a 40, like that's pretty good improvement.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Amanda, what about you?
I'm scared to say it.
No, you're fine. Film is like, I give you so much crap for like BVS, and like I don't mean any of it at all.
I know.
No, it's not my favorite, but like
no, I get that. Trust me. I love this. It was just. It means so much to the fans, and being someone who's been there since 2017 is just. It was a long time coming, and it just felt like a huge weight has been lifted off of this fandom's shoulders, and we raised so much money for AFSP, and like that was the most important thing, is bringing this community together to do that for Zack in honor of Autumn. So this movie was everything. I cried when I shouldn't have cried, but I did cry throughout Zack Snyder's Justice League. I felt empowered watching it, which a lot of people say that Zack doesn't know how to create his female characters, and I think that's just total BS, because what they did with Wonder Woman and the Amazon in this movie was just absolutely incredible.
It was probably my favorite part, for sure.
Yeah. I want like a spin-off series of Zack just doing like something into Themyscira, because he just knows how to do it so well. I love my Batfleck, I love Cyborg, and I need part 2 immediately, so I would give this definitely an A, 90 to 95.
Okay.
I do recognize that there are issues, I completely get it, but this, for me, in my heart, is definitely an A.
Yeah, that's quite the monologue, honestly. Like,
Thank you.
I was just gonna give it a B. Yeah, B plus. Next.
I like how we're all kind of different ends of the scale. Like all pretty positive, but
yeah. I mean, okay, so I've said this about a lot of films, and I was talking to Ricky about it. I was like, he's like, oh man, it's gonna be amazing. I was like, dude, I'm like, I just don't know. I didn't know, because going off my logic, when I saw Batman v Superman theatrical, I was so pumped for that fucking movie. I was like, this is gonna be amazing. And then it just I looked at that Rotten Tomatoes score, I was like, sweet Jesus. And then the Ultimate Edition came out. I was like, okay, it's like a little bit better, but it still would do it for me. So my reasoning, I was like, okay, so if we get this, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I was like, I don't see it being that much better than BVS. Between the entire, trilogy, it tells a very coherent story. Like, it makes total sense. Just like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, even though the third one's the weakest in the series, it does have a beginning, middle, and end. Well, end for Justice League, I guess it is an end. But I didn't want this film to fail. I would never go into a movie looking for imperfections, because I wanted it to be good. I did not want to sit through a crappy 4-hour movie. Nobody does. So like I was blown away. I was very, very impressed. And it's really hard to kind of just think about everything he has been through, like losing a daughter and suicide's a very touchy subject, and it's very real, and people don't. I feel like a lot of people just don't take it as seriously as they should. But honestly, just well done, Zack Snyder. It was it was great. I do want to see more, but I don't think we're gonna get it. I don't think we're gonna get it.
Snyderverse.
Like, I want to jump in that bandwagon, but I feel like there's a lot of toxic people. I would not mind if they did it. Like, it was great. I definitely, this has a lot of rewatchability. And it's just, it's like watching Daredevil season 3. It's like, it's just so good, but you know that like the end is almost here. And it's just like, what could have been? It's okay, Daredevil. I'm actually looking at Daredevil right now, so I have a poster of him above my.
I was like, "What are you looking at?"
It's okay, Matt Murdock. The light will shine on you again. But yeah, that pretty much does it here for our Zack Snyder spoiler review. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on with us. I tried to get Leo to come on, but he was taking the night off, and I totally understand. March is not over yet, people. We have so much more to cover. Falcon and Winter Soldier is here. I'm really excited. I'm excited for it. I'm still on the high of WandaVision. It was just so experimental. And like, we got the Loki poster. I was like, that's yes. Yes, please. I'm looking for more experimental things. I'm excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I'm hoping that, it does. I'm hoping they just get right into it, because it's like only 6 episodes. Yeah. So it's like, I'm hoping it will more so than not. But let everyone know where they can find you, Amanda. What's coming up content wise for you, where you're going to be guest starring, and just everything that you're going to be doing.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This is a great conversation about Zack Snyder's Justice League all day, as you know. You guys can find me over at AMX ND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can find me at Candid Cinema on YouTube and my website, candidxcinema.com. I have some words over at geeklygoods.com, and then I'm an editor over at Geek Bomb, and I have majority of my reviews for Netflix movies. I have my Zack Snyder Justice League review there. And I also have my Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1 review there, which I absolutely loved. This weekend is going to be heavy. I am doing a full recap of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier tomorrow over at Movie Files Live. And then I will be with Christian again on Sunday morning, as we are going to do a deep dive.
I was kidding. I honestly forgot about that. I forgot we're actually doing the deep dive on Zach's channel. Oh my God. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Everyone's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, I don't think I got anything going on. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
A jam-packed panel over at Zach Pope's YouTube channel. And then at night, I will be back with Movie Files Live, and we're going to do another deep dive of Zack Snyder's Justice League on Sunday night.
Woo!
So,
Like Aquaman over there.
Literally. That was a good one. That was great. But yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend, and then next week,
Silence, yeah.
That's it. I'm just gonna binge watch the Mighty Ducks because I've never seen it. And
really?
Then,
okay.
I never watched them, so then I'm gonna do that and then watch the new one and see how it goes. But thank you so much, guys, for having me tonight.
Oh, it was our pleasure. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up on the pod. We have, I don't know, we're gonna do week by week for Invincible or not. We still have to figure that out. But of course,
I want to.
Huh?
I want to. It's so good.
Devin, who is going to be the thumbnail? We cannot have.
Why not both?
That's a lot of photo editing.
Do it.
No, it's fine. We'll definitely figure it out. We might just have to forego the news for a while and just do back to back between Falcon and Invincible. Godzilla versus Kong is going to be coming up. Hashtag Team Kong. That's coming up. See, like, I think that's going to be my first movie back in the theaters, because how could you
Feels
not
right.
watch it? Like, I'm not trying to watch it on my 50-inch TV here or like my phone or whatever, but I just
I'm sad.
I'm just thinking about when Leo said we watched Wonder Woman 84 on his, what's his tablet or something.
Oh my god, I died laughing when you said that. You were so excited for that movie, and I'm just like, bro.
That was the funniest thing ever. He's like, yo, I watched it on my iPad. I'm like, you what?
I was dead.
I was
dead.
dying. And then we also have our Solar Opposites season 2 review. It's coming out on Hulu later this month. I think we're just gonna. I don't think we're gonna do the embargo for that one. I think we're just gonna watch it all through, and there's just so much. We didn't do Coming to America, which is fine. I didn't really care about that. The Oscars are coming up as well, but it's
I don't want it.
it's just so stressful. It's so stressful.
Honestly.
I'm done with everything right now. I'm just like, it's the craziest week possibly of the year so far is done when it comes to like all this content, all this cape shit we got going on. But like, it's a great time for all this content to be dropping. It's like, I was worried we weren't going to have a lot of content going in to 2021, let alone, besides Warner Brothers doing their, HBO MAx theatrical thing. And now we got Paramount Plus. So me and Devin signed up for it. So that
you did?
We
How is
did.
it?
It's honestly,
It's decent.
it's not bad.
Better than Quibi.
It's
Yeah.
R.I.P.
As long as it's better than Quibi, it's okay.
Literally, like almost every single, pretty much every single Nickelodeon property you can think of, like old and new, is on there. And I was like, that enough for me? I'm good. Like, I will sit there and watch Drake and Josh. I've been binging iCarly, Victorious. I'll watch some old school Hey Arnold. But like, what's really getting me is they're expanding the Avatar: The Last Airbender animated, thank God, series. Nice. So no more M. Night Shyamalan poop crap going on.
I love that one. What are you talking? I'm joking. I'm
If there is one movie that has never disappointed me more, it's probably that. Like,
oh, that sucks.
What was the M. Night cut?
No.
Hashtag.
No, that man showed us his vision. I don't want to see anymore.
I don't like him as a director, but that's
yeah, I do. I think he has he has a show on Apple TV Plus called Servant. I think.
Yeah.
I heard it's okay. But anyway, Devin, is there anything you wanted to tell our lovely listeners out there?
You covered it.
All right, let me close us out here. Oh man, I'm like crazy hungry right now. Ugh. It is insane. Oh. All right, let me close this out. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening, and make sure to check out the other shows on MusicCityDriving.com. Subscribe to our show so you never miss an episode. That was Devin, Amanda, and my name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Go to MusicCityDriving.com.